a lot of comments are coming in about, Juan there says, disappointed with the result today, but back to the drawing board. I mean, you've got 59 days to figure that out ahead of the World Cup. So the drawing board,
better be small.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. GP saying we're going to get one win of that at the World Cup with this team. And then I feel like there is maybe some positivity we can finish with to say that this is the wake-up call that they probably needed, and they have a chance, to put it right on Tuesday against Saudi Arabia. So there is a 90 minutes coming up where they can work on a few of these things, improve. I think Japan are better than Saudi Arabia, so the US should have more opportunities, more looks. But I'm really intrigued to see how they bounce back from this disappointment. That's what it is. Andy, go ahead.
I'll say this for this team under Berhalter. So since World Cup qualifying began, or during World Cup qualifying, they lost 3 games. They bounced back with a win from all 3. Now, granted, CONCACAF competition, we're not talking about necessarily World Cup competition, but it wasn't just one game. They went 5 games unbeaten with 4 wins after the first one. They went 3 games unbeaten with 2 wins. Then they went 4 games unbeaten with 2 wins. So they have bounced back. They have shown an ability, and all those defeats, no goals, probably very, very low shots on target, very little generated in output, and they have been able to bounce back from that. So maybe there is a little bit of hope, I think, in that sense. But I don't know. If you need a wake-up call 59 days before the World Cup, then maybe the World Cup is not for you.
I think Enrique's comment there is sort of where this, I think, discussion is going to go to next, that the talent is there. The pressure is going to be cranked up now on Gregg Berhalter if we don't see another positive or a positive display against Saudi Arabia. And then they've got 2 months to sit there and try and figure it out. And then they have a mini camp, and then they're at the World Cup. So there isn't a lot to sort out here, Andy, like you said. So I think a lot of those comments from the US fans are going to be very similar to that one we're seeing on the screen. And then there's a lot of debate about Weston McKennie. I can see some comments coming in about him, Musa. Nick, I mean, I'm trying to get some positives from this display, but I think when you look at Gio Reyna playing out wide, he's been rusty, hasn't played a lot. It's yes, he was starting because Pulisic was out injured today, right? Unexpectedly so, but there's still players being played not in the right combinations, not together. And yes, there are injuries and people missing this squad. We know that. But Nick, how concerned are you that it doesn't seem like that fluidity and that consistency is there that you need at a World Cup, right? You need to be able to look to the guy next to you and know his game inside out, which I think is what Japan had today for the most part. Even if they don't play together all the time, they had that understanding and idea. And it seems like the US still doesn't have that.
Joe, get ready to see it again in a couple of days. Saudi Arabia isn't as good as Japan, but they know how to play. They all play together. They all play in the Saudi League. And they're going to be quite ready to face the United States of America, who, as we know, not exactly always on the friendliest terms. You said a positive could be a wake-up call. And I want to ask you guys this. Who needs the wake-up call more? The guys on the roster who I think will know they did poorly, or the coach?
That was my thought.
Yeah.
My initial thought.
Yeah, I've said it before. I don't want to dog on the guy. I already said it in this. Aaron Long shouldn't be near a starting lineup for this team. His mixed messaging is slaying my morale. Andy and I think we're trading messages about this. Ricardo Pepe gets called in because he's got to see him play. That's why PFOC's not here. He's got to see Ricardo Pepe play. 30 minutes left. Here's Jordan Morris, who I like, by the way. I like Jordan Morris. I absolutely know who Jordan Morris is. I know everything in his skill set.
Doesn't make sense, right?
Yeah. You have to be in form and you have to be playing. And Luca Del Torre's played like 8 minutes in 3 months. It's just hopefully the guys in the room understand what's going on, because a lot of times you get that from managers in football. They're saying things for the fans. They're saying things for the board. They're not saying things to their players. He better have walked there in halftime and been like, well, that was pick your expletive, right?
Yeah. I mean, I'm going to leave us with this comment here from Del Boy. I mean, this is the one that I think we've struggled with throughout Gregg Berhalter's tenure in terms of, we know there's a playing style that he wants to play. I mean, is the USA trying to run before they can walk, playing the progressive passing soccer before they have technically good enough players to play this style effectively against the top international teams? I think today what we saw was Japan are a step up from most of the competition they've had over the last 2 years. We're missing some key players, yes, but I do not think that Gregg Berhalter now, 59 days before the World Cup start, is going to rip everything up from the last few years and say, you know what, we're not going to play this style anymore. He's going to go with that, and he's going to die on that sword. I mean, that is the way he wants to play. So unless the players completely overpower him and say, look, we are not going to win games by playing this way, let's go more direct. Let's sit back. We don't want to play this way, which the players aren't going to say, by the way, because a lot of them are technically good enough to play this way. Yeah. I just think, Andy, you're probably going to make this point that it's a step up. We've now seen the step up for the US, and now it's how does this young team adapt to disappointments and to other teams figuring out that they don't have a plan B, is essentially what we've seen today. There is no plan B. Wasn't today. I don't think there will be against Saudi Arabia, and I don't think there will be at the World Cup, but that's just me.
Yeah, this is maybe a slightly bigger conversation for another day, or just an in theory conversation, but playing super possession-based stuff in the international game is just not the right way to go. I think what we've seen the last few years especially is teams that come together for a couple of training sessions and then they play a couple of games and they go back to their clubs and then they do the same thing. It's very difficult to work the intricacies and all of the details that are required, because when you're talking about a possession system like we're talking about, we're not just talking about, oh, we're just going to play the ball on the ground and we're going to pass it. It's not about the guy on the ball. It's about everybody else and the space that they take up and the options that they present to the player on the ball and the movement and the way that they pull opposing midfields and defenders out of space by being clever with their movement and their combination. That takes a lot of time to get down, and for a group of players with a full starting lineup of all your very best players, even, let alone you've got some backups and some injuries in there, it just feels like this is probably not the right plan or the right idea or strategy certainly for this team. I think that's been made clear, but for the international game in general, like we are seeing teams at major tournaments that press really hard and counter quickly. And what did Japan do today? I'm not saying that's easy to do, but you can. Just the basic principles of those things, it simplifies the game, I think, for the players in a way that this team, I think they need it. I think they need it really badly.
Yeah, I mean, look at the two finalists from the Euros last summer, England and Italy. Both much better, pressing high, winning the ball back on the counter, launching counterattacks. That's what they did. And you're right, Andy. A lot of teams will do that. And if the US can't defend against that, like we saw today, then they are going to struggle massively at the World Cup.
It's all they're going to see at the World Cup.
I know.
Hi there, I'm Rebecca Lowe, studio host for NBC's coverage of the Premier League. Don't forget to hit subscribe to watch more videos all season long. For even more Premier League content, from original series to live matches, head over to Peacock and be sure to tune in for Premier League mornings every weekend on USA Network and on Peacock. We will see you over there.